I'm Chris, you're watching FRAG-MENTAL, thanks for joining me. If there's one thing a man loves more than most other things in life, it's his plums. They give me so much pleasure, that rich, dark flesh. So tasty. One of my favourite fruits. And over the years, plum has become one of my favourite notes in fragrances. So today, I'm going to be telling you about a fine pair of sexy plums. Stay tuned. Bond No. 9's Andy Warhol and Tom Ford's Plum Japonais are two much loved plum fragrances, sadly discontinued. Thankfully, Alexandria Fragrances are keeping the plummy dream alive with their interpretations. We have Fame 15 and Forbidden Plum. Fame 15 is the Andy Warhol. I don't own the original, I've never smelled the original, even samples are hard to come by, so today I'll just be sharing my thoughts on what I think about this fragrance with no comparisons. I do own the Tom Ford, so I'll be comparing Forbidden Plum with Plum Japonais. Alright, let's start with Fame 15. Notes are citrus, bergamot, cypress, plum, jasmine, labdanum, patchouli, oud, musk, sandalwood, vanilla and olibanum. Whether you bite them, peel them, suck them, whatever you might do with plums, if you enjoy plums, you're going to really enjoy this fragrance because when you first spray it, you get this ripe, juicy plum note. It's extremely satisfying. It makes me think of biting into a ripe, juicy plum that's maybe been lightly covered in a sort of plummy sherbet. So there are citruses listed in the opening, but I don't really pick up on citruses that much. Perhaps they're adding to the brightness, you know, this pop that I'm talking about. The citruses may be contributing to that, but in terms of the fruity notes, plum is definitely the most prominent. Underneath the plum, there's a beautiful smoothness, possibly coming from musks and sandalwood, and there's a creaminess too. So if creamy plums are your thing, then I think you'll find something in this fragrance you really enjoy. As it dries down, that fizz, that plummy fizz from the opening smooths out and it becomes this sweet, smooth, fruity accord, very rich, very sensual. I think this is a very sexy fragrance. It would be perfect for a night out, perfect for a date night. One of the best things though about this scent is the structure and the depth. So the oud is bringing this confident woody depth to it and the olibanum is bringing a mysterious resonance quality. All in all, I think Fame 15 is an absolutely stunning scent. Okay, a little bit of fragment. I'd say spring and autumn are probably the best months for this fragrance. I get excellent performance. I'm getting 2 to 3 hours of the initial projection and then it'll last on my skin for around 8 to 10 hours, but throughout the life of wearing it, I'm getting lovely wafts. I think it's pretty versatile. I think you could wear this whenever you like for any occasion. I think it's bright enough to perhaps wear casually, but I think there's enough depth to it to be able to wear it as an evening scent as well. So great, versatile fragrance. 100% unisex, anyone can wear this. In terms of the price, I was trying to find a price for the original Bond No. 9 Andy Warhol. Obviously it's not available, but I did see one on eBay which was almost £400, so you're looking at those kind of silly prices. Alexandria are selling this 30ml for £35. If you buy it from Alexandria Fragrances on the US site, you'll be paying $42.99. So bit of a price difference there. As I said, I haven't smelled the original. I wish I could make a comparison between this one and that one for you, but that's off the table anyway. It's not really an option. So if you think you like the sound of this DNA, if you love your plums, then I think Fame 15 would definitely be a great option. I think it's a beautiful fragrance, very classy, very sexy. One plum down, one more to go. Let's talk about Forbidden Plum, which is Alexandria Fragrances' interpretation of Tom Ford's Plum Japonais. The notes are Japanese plum, saffron, cinnamon, immortelle, plum blossom, camellia, oud, amber, benzoin, fir and vanilla. And I should just point out this is an older style bottle, so if you buy Forbidden Plum today, the bottle will look very similar to Fame 15. So, Plum Japonais is a much loved fragrance from the pretty expensive Tom Ford Private Blend. I managed to snag this bottle just as it had been announced it was discontinued, so I feel quite lucky to have this one. Again, the plum brings this mysterious sexiness. As with Fame 15, you're straight into the plum, but this time it's a spicier take on plum. It's a rich, sensual fragrance, but the thing I love most about this one is the intoxicating boozy accord. Despite there being florals in the notes, it's not an overly floral fragrance to me. It definitely doesn't lean feminine. Vanilla brings some sweetness. Again, oud brings some woody depth and structure. Rich plum, assertive spices, a drop of booze make this a sensual attention grabber. Out of the two fragrances, Fame 15 and this one, I'd say maybe Fame 15 perhaps would work better as more of a casual wear fragrance. I think you could wear it in the evening, but just comparing the two. Forbidden Plum's a little darker, a little spicier, so I think that might work for the times when you want to turn heads, make a statement, maybe the times when you want to boldly spray. Merch link below the video. So to compare Forbidden Plum with the Tom Ford, I'd say they're both very similar. The Tom Ford goes a little darker, particularly in the dry down. I pick up on a sort of musty, leathery facet in the base, whereas the Alexandria seems to stay plummier for longer, if that makes sense. I find that Plum Japonais settles into its spices and woods into the far dry down. But in terms of performance, I'd say pretty comparable between the two. A little bit of FRAG-MENTAL, I'd say Forbidden Plum would work great in spring and autumn, maybe leaning a little more towards the autumn because it's a touch darker than Fame 15, but for springs here in the UK, absolutely fine. Good performance off this, around 2 hours projection, 8 hours longevity. You're looking at £35 for this on Alexandria's UK website and $42.99 on the USA website. I'll leave both those websites linked in the description below, and those prices are for the 30ml bottles. So there we go, a pair of very sexy, very enjoyable plums. Neither of these fragrances are available in their original forms, which is why I wanted to make you aware of the Alexandria Fragrances options. I've always been very impressed with the brand, so if you've not checked them out, definitely worth doing so. As I said, the links will be in the description below the video. Let me know what you think of these fragrances. Have you tried them both? Have you been able to compare with the Bond No. 9? If you've been able to do that, I personally would be really interested to know how those two compare, and so would everyone else be in the comments. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM, keep smelling good, and I'll see you in the next one.